Greetings to all the organizers as well as the participants of today's events. It's my pleasure to be with all of you, and I hope that the discussions and the exchange of ideas which will grow from this platform will benefit us collectively at some stage or the other. Now, just to recapitulate what the earlier speakers said, insofar as left-wing extremism is concerned, right from 1967 when it first arose in Naxalbari by Charu Mazumdar. Then we have different, turning dates. In 75, the MCC was formed by one Kanai Chatterjee. Then 1980, PWG was formed in 1980. In 1998, we see the merger of CPI ML with the PWG. In 2000, we had the emergence of PLGA. Similarly, as the earlier speaker said, in 2004, there was another merger and MCCI came, and by 2014, uh, they all merged and CPI Maoist was the final phase. It means that this movement has emerged over a period of time, and there have been various reasons for it, as were elaborated, whether there were security gaps. Probably we did not pay much attention. There were certain people who want to take on the political power through military means, as this is often said. Given all that, I've been a witness to this movement since 2003, when it really started catching up. In fact, we say that it started catching up very fast from 2003 onwards to 2011. Then there was certain check on their movement, and they started receiving few setbacks by 2018, and then now the security forces are in much control, because initially the state police also lacked the capacity to deal with this type of violence, because they are basically resorting to use of IDs in the areas. And unfortunately, it happened in India that the development did not take place, and if the development which took place was of an exploitative nature without making it inclusive. So what happened, it was easier for the Maoist element to first make their inroads in the area. They captured all the human terrain by solving their problems, because the administration was not there to solve their problems. They even started holding courts. They had the liberated areas. They even took advantage of the fact that there were no development, and that they also restricted later on when the efforts were made by the developmental agencies to go inside, that they do not actually go. So they not only capture the geographical areas, but also the human terrain, the geographical terrain as well as the human terrain. Now, this is how it happened. Now, if we see that incident wise, or we see the violence wise, or the civilian casualties out of all the three theaters, maximum numbers, and it will vary around 61% to 70% in all these three domains, belong to this theater. When I say all the theaters, means the JNK, the Northeast, and the LWA. So that is the level of violence is still taking place. And as I said, that we have gone a long way in containing this, because there are different issues. The dynamics of this thing is that the state police forces, when this problem arose, there was no outreach in those tribal areas. The development agencies did not reach, the security agencies had not reached, and they slowly, gradually, as their tactics is, that they make a very silent inroad into those areas, try solving the problem of the people, and emerge as the custodian of their interest. And slowly, gradually, then they organize people on their side, and then they train them for various purposes. That is how they have been operating. So they make a very, very, discreet entry, and slowly, gradually. And unfortunate on our part, in these remote areas, neither the developmental agencies nor the security forces went for a long time, and whatever development took place was a much of an exploitative nature, at least non-inclusive. And they also thought at times, the tribal people thought that they are doing the mining. They had faith in the uh, hills or the mountains as their god. So there was no cultural assimilation, there was no dialogue with them. So they thought that they are coming and said, and even there were certain atrocities on the gender side. So all those complaints over a period of time worked against us. But slowly, gradually, when the governments realized, then there was an initial capacity building of the local police forces also, and the developmental agencies also started going in along with the security agencies, along with their medical services, about the road network and all. But to this date also, let me inform you, there are many areas we still need the digital connectivity as well as the physical connectivity. And these are those core areas which are totally in their control. They are good at making IDs of various types, whether it is wire connected or whether it is pressure mines they are making, or using various types of local utensils and putting those. And since there was lots of mining activities and other things, so it was easy for them to siphon off the various types of explosives and even build them at the local level using various chemicals which are being used for agricultural purposes. They also were able to, when they had this ID attacks, they were able to snatch many weapons from the security forces themselves. Over a period of time, we found that they also have the engineers with them. They have all their own manufacturing units at various places, which have been unearthed by various agencies. So, not that they were very, with the great planning, they were intruding in the area. They knew how to capture the human terrain, which pockets which are exploitative, where the administration is not reached. And number two, they also attack the security forces. Those are the areas which, those terrains, we have been going to those terrains. Rather, I've gone to all the states and all the types of being in CRPF. I've been associated with CRPF since 2003. So, in all the states in those jungle areas, the terrains are really difficult for outside forces. Now, number two things which happened in this period was that the local police capacity building was essential, for which they needed finance. The government of India came up with the modernization plans, and they tried to win the SRE schemes, which Mr. Vibhu was talking about. So those SRE schemes and those funding came. Number two was induction of the various forces. So another thing was the confluence between the two different types of forces coming from the center and the state, and the way the policing is a state subject, and when the central forces come, so there were certain issues. So the coordination issues, that was another area why I'm talking about. It seems that it is very easy, but when the different forces go, and it's also under the federal structure, the political consensus drawing, so the certain delays took place because of that. But I'm happy that lately those things are slowly, gradually winning away. I mean, the political consensus is also existing, and those federal coordination systems have also improved. The combined task forces. Another challenge which came in this area was those trijunctions, the different states. Now, what happens in those trijunctions? Those are the left out areas, and they become the den for these places, the Maoist, and organizing coordination between different states, because again, as all of you are aware, that there may be different political parties, there may be different stakes of the different governments in those areas. There may be different types of looking at the things, the different type of local geographical terrain, or the economic activity, or the interest of the local population. So at times it becomes very difficult to organize the combined policing in those areas, and that the matter of jurisdiction, and everybody thinks from their angle more, that okay, in my area, whether what advantage do I have. Now such type of issues have been hindering, but by and large, as everybody experienced that, yes, either everybody gains or everybody loses, and slowly and gradually that synergy between various forces as well as the different states and the agencies, it has come a long way. Similarly, when you go to these terrains, so there are difficult geographical terrains, there are rivers, how to cross them, and those people are master of the area. Thirdly, they use the local people. Now, here, this is a very relevant thing. that they use the local tribals, train them. From their military segment, there will be hardly 5 or 10 people, not even a section of 7 people. But they will organize 500 people locally, and they will emerge all of a sudden because they have captured those terrains for a long time. They have been solving their problems, and they have given to their mind that we are saving you and the government of India as an exploiter. All that pure narratives they have been putting in their mind. So when you conduct those operations, you never know where those IDs are. You are likely to fall. They all know. Now, there were certain incidents like this that, since many of you are youngsters, I can see, like they know the movement pattern of the forces. They can gauge, and it is their area. So they will attack you at one place, hide themselves, and they know where all will you take the shelter in order to make yourself safe, or what all will do, where you will have your water. So they used to have a further supplementary attack at those places. Initially, forces could not understand, but now over a period of time, and they have also made an inroad into the human terrain. Now, what happens that initially in Rani Bodli and those incidents which took place, there were 500 people suddenly emerging from different villages and coming forward. So when the engagement takes place, these are the villagers who are killed because they have been handed over the weapons by the Maoist, or they come in front of the Maoist and they're marching towards the camps. So this is how the civilian casualties have been taking place, because they are being used by them. And whosoever the informers of the police have been there, and whenever they know them, they have been killing. That's how. So it is unfortunate that lots of civilian casualties have been taking place in these areas. Now, having said that, giving you this, over a period of time, somehow, as the also forces have gained the experience, there's a learning curve. There have been better coordination between the state forces and the central forces. There have been better coordination between various states. The various types of weapons and technologies have been bought by the police forces also. And even the scanning devices, though till now, we are still looking for better, detection devices for the IEDs. Yet that scanning from the air, scanning from various other perspectives, which includes the explosive detectors and all. So best of the technologies have been inducted by the forces, their experience, capability, the data bank. With that, the whole area has now shrunk. As he said that there were so many districts, hundreds of districts. Even one time it reached to over 100 districts, 150 districts, and many police stations, over 500 police stations. Now everything reduced down to the number my predecessor said, and that is a fact. So these recent losses which they have suffered, even out of their 27 top cadres, the 6 have been neutralized. And many of the cadres now, they have become old also. Now this have been bothering them. So now they are also changing their strategy because they have been cornered. So they want that they move to the other areas. So the concentration of forces which has taken place in certain pockets which have been identified over a period of time, when they move to the other areas, and the forces also move to the area, it's like a balloon situation. If you press a balloon from one area, so the air reaches the other portion. This has been one. They make spectacular attacks at few places. They don't make numerous attacks nowadays. Initially, they will make a number of attacks. Nowadays, they make a spectacular attack because they want to convey a of perception of terror to the people, the local people, as well as the security forces. So spectacular attacks at few places. They are making inroads more and more into the civil, the human terrain, the local tribals, and trying to recruit them in those areas. In urban areas, they are note takers. They have been trying to, as per my information, in the urban areas, when they are trying to recruit people, there have been note takers in the urban areas. But definitely, they are trying to make an inroad into various labor associations or other places, or they raise their concerns and voices through various mediums, like whenever the farmers, during farmers agitation, or say Citizenship Act issues, all those issues, whenever they come, they try to raise their voices against the government. So these type of things they have been doing through frontal organizations, as they have their frontal bases, and all types of people from various intellectual segment as well as legal domains have been working for them, even in the certain uh, mm, uh, people feel that there a lot of atrocities were done on Adivasis and tribal areas. So they have some of it tacit support or the other, and the agencies have been working to cut down their support, which is coming from these areas. Now, they want to expand to the new areas. In that context, we believe that certain movement could go to the urban areas also. That is how the various inputs are coming. But yes, no definite or conclusive, except one case I have in my knowledge when we had caught one gang in Kanpur. At that time, I was in UP as IG Law and Order. So those are the cases which we catch and we investigate. Then we come to know that yes, they have been making their base in urban areas, also trying to influence people. Those vulnerable segments where there is a developmental paucity and they have grievance against the establishment, they are trying to make their base. And so such cases are there, but not in a very, very organized fashion, the way they are in the traditional liberated zones which they first created, and that they have been now reduced to very few districts. As I said, 25 he gave, and I agree with that. And extended districts where the SRE facilities are there, around 70 of them. Now, they are now also into improving their communication capabilities. As per the information, they are trying to procure high security mobiles in those areas as the digital connectivity is increasing. They are also trying to have the scanners so they can know the movement of the security forces and even the safe communication on their side. They, as we learn, that they are also trying to procure the drones to have a watch on the movement of the security forces, because uh, till last year I was heading CRPF, we had gone deep into in Bastar areas, as the deep into their core area. Thus, and with a great difficulty, we had made that first camp in the core area, and that was a great success. And after that, it made us easy to approach into the thick dens. So um, they are now also trying to procure drones. They can keep a watch on the movement of the forces, and the forces are also doing their best. I'm happy to inform that things are quite under control because of the synergy between various state forces, and also because of the confidence level which the people now have. And the forces are also having the outreach in the tribal area. The government of India is also spending lots of money, since the developmental agencies are not able to go without the security forces. Now many things are being done through security forces, and that outreach in the tribal areas is being made. And even there are many developmental projects have been taken on even the river connectivity, the bridges on the river, so that, as I said, the physical movement is has been a constraint. So that is being taken care of. So what finally it boils down to, that we have to fill the security vacuums wherever they are existing, and the agencies are quite aware about it. We are focusing on the ecosystem, the word which was used, yes, who are financing them, and we are narrowing down on their top leaders, where they are moving, where they are getting their medical supports, where are they getting the supplies from, rations, etc. Everything is being noted, and very concerted effort is being made. That is what I mean by, and even their second or third line of supports, which are supporting the top cadres. We are trying to neutralize the mass base and the popular support. That is another area. The mass base and the popular support has to be, because in any war zone, people are the main asset. If the people are on our side, we will win the game. If the people are on the side of the Terrorists, they will have their success factor because the all support comes down. So they are the center of gravity, as we say. Now, we need more aggressive holistic development. We should pitch in for that. We also need specific intelligence inputs. They will come if they have the more inroads into the human terrain. The broad inputs definitely come from intelligence agencies, but the micro inputs have to be developed locally, and there we need the help of the local population. And there are many instances in my own first-hand experience where the local population provides us the specific intelligence, and we are able to succeed. So specific intelligence-based operations are needed. And as I said, the coordination under the federal system is a very important factor in the political consensus, because even the professional forces are there. And I must compliment all the forces who have moved to the areas, the boys, the officers, that very committed, and they're putting their best. So these few things, given that, and I'm fully believe that by the year 2025, as MHA has declared, even the Honorable Home Minister has declared his intention, and every one of us who wants a peace, and I believe that everybody believes in peace, and as the core statement was made, that is a peaceful, inclusive development. That is the crux. So I fully believe in that, and let's be hopeful. And I stop at that for the time being, and I'm happy to take questions there later on. Thank you.